Hello, everybody. It's me, Shannon LaBruyere. I am live and loving it tonight. Welcome. Welcome to Sunday Night Live, where we explore the principles that allow us to thrive and change. I am so excited that you're joining us tonight. We are exploring the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, which is a very old book by Stephen R. Covey, and it is fantastic. It is the book that launched me on my personal growth journey. It blew my mind, and as I've been rereading it, I just am still overwhelmed by the wisdom and how applicable it is. So, I'm excited to explore the habits with you because they are powerful, and we will look at them through the lens of change. But these habits are applicable because they're principles. They are applicable in every area of life. That's what makes principles so great. Welcome. If you are new to Sunday Night Live, say hi. Oops, Samantha's here. Hi, Samantha. I'm glad to see you. Good to have you live. If you have never been on Sunday Night Live, now's your chance to jump in, introduce yourself, let us know who you are, give StreamYard permission to use your Facebook profile. And that way we'll be able to see your face and see your name. So glad you're here. Mary, I'm so glad you're able to be with us live. And before we get too far along, I want to give a shout out to Thumb Roast Coffee. If you are not enjoying the world's best coffee every morning, I do. I enjoy it every morning. If you're not, it is an easy fix. All you do is go to thumbroastcoffee.com, pick out your preferred blend, your preferred roast, drop it in the cart, go check out, give them your debit or credit card, and bam, you are going to have the most delicious coffee in just a couple of days, and you will never go back. It's so good. And the best news is you get a discount when you use coupon code THRIVE. THRIVE is going to get you 15% off at thumbroastcoffee.com. And now's the time to start thinking about Christmas gifts for teachers, for family members that maybe you don't know what to do. Thumb Roast Coffee makes a fantastic hostess gift or a host gift if you go to someone's house for dinner. It's a wonderful thing that they will really, really love. And they may not have ever tried it. All right, so let's see. Tonight's hashtag is hashtag bring the honor. 100% bring the honor as we're exploring habit number 2, which is, oh, what is it? Hold on. Habit number 2. Habit number 1 is be proactive. Habit number 2 is, oh my gosh, you guys, someone help me. My mind went totally blank. I'm going to have to get my notes. I was trying to wing it, you guys, because I just knew what I was talking about. And habit number 2 is, um, it's about creating. You guys, somebody help me. Philip, I'm glad you're here. Somebody distract everyone while I look up my notes because habit number 2 has totally left my brain. It is begin with the end in mind. Oh my goodness. I know this. All right, now I don't need my notes, you guys. Habit number 2. I hope you're laughing out there. Habit number 2 is begin with the end in mind. And it is all about bring the honor because it's about who we are, not what we do. And that's what hashtag bring the honor is all about. So, with that, we are going to jump in and get started. Thank you. There's somebody laughing. Yes. All right. Mary's laughing. Thank you, Mary. All right. So, quick review of last week where we talked about habit 1, which is be proactive. And again, there are so many ways to apply that principle. But the one I want to remind us of tonight before we jump into habit number 2, which is begin with the end in mind, is this. Being proactive doesn't just mean that it's a good idea to act instead of react, although it is. It doesn't mean that you're a better leader or that you're going to be more effective if you are proactive instead of reactive, although that's true. What it means as at its core is this, and I want you to grasp this because it's really crucial. These habits build on each other. It is crucial that we understand that be proactive means I always have power. You always have power. No matter what circumstances come our way, we have power, and our power lies in our power to choose our response to the things that come our way. When we understand at our core that we can be proactive, we can control, if nothing else, we can control how we respond, how we act, the choices we make. By really understanding that and embracing it, it sets us up for the second habit, which is begin with the end in mind. Once you know that you are powerful and you have the ability to change things and that you can take action that's pertinent to your life, that's consistent with your values, it sets you up for really great stuff in habit two, begin with the end in mind. So, um, many years ago, before GPS was a thing, before you could go to Google Maps on your phone, man, you guys, I'm feeling more and more ancient. It's true. But many years ago, when I was a teenager, I was on a church youth trip and we were going to Indiana. And so we're on the expressway. We're here in Michigan. We jump on I 94. And I remember this vividly. The plan was to go to Indiana. We needed to get on I 94 west, and then we needed to take that to I 69 south. All we have to do, 94 west, I 69 south. We were having a grand time. We were making great time. We were flying down the expressway, you guys. We were having a grand time laughing. We were excited to go. It was going to be great. And then somebody says, wait a minute. What was that sign we just passed? You guys, we had driven to Illinois, not Indiana. We'd made fantastic time, but we were on the wrong road. We missed our turn way back. We were supposed to catch I 69 and we didn't see it. And before you knew it, we were in a whole nother state. It added hours and hours to our trip. We got there late. We missed the fun dinner we were going to have with the other people we were meeting. It was really disappointing. But but it was on us. We were so busy making great time that we did not pay attention to the markers that we could have seen along the way. We were making great time, but we were on the wrong road. And so, as we talk about habit number two, begin with the end in mind, I want you to consider something. Are you making great time on the wrong road? Are you on the road that somebody else picked for you? Are you on the road that life threw at you? Are you on the road that your habits, that your past kind of plopped you on and you've just kept going? Because you can be proactive, because habit number one is a principle that is universally true. You have the power to change your course, but you have to know you're on the wrong road. Does that make sense? Hi, Carol. I'm glad you're here. Begin with the end in mind says this. If you want to end well, you've got to make that choice early. In fact, we always do. Have you ever built a house? We finished a house. We didn't build it. It was partially done. And then my husband went in and put up the drywall and wired it. He did all kinds of stuff. So when we saw this house, before we did a thing to it, before we laid down floors, before we put up walls, before we painted, we had to get a mental picture of what that was going to be. We had a mental picture of what our house was going to look like, what we wanted it to look like. And then we could go out, we could buy the paint, we could choose the flooring, we could get the curtains, but we had to have a mental image of what that was going to look like. We do this with cars, right? You decide, oh, I want a car, and you know what you need. I need a car. It needs to seat 4 people or it needs to seat 6. I need to have room for groceries. I want to be able to put my skis on the top. We get a mental image of what it is we want, and then we go out and we execute it. We do it. If you've ever done art, same thing. You've got a mental image and you try to execute it. We put that kind of effort into into our purchases, our homes, our plans. But sometimes we don't put even this much of that attention to our lives. What do you want your life to look like? When you're 150 years old, I want you to think, fast forward, when I'm 150 years old and they're doing my funeral, what do I want them to say? What do you want them to say about you? That is a great place to figure out what you want your end to look like. Because here's what I know. If you don't know where you're going, you won't get there. Where are you going? Your life is precious. Your power to change your world, to influence the people around you, to do good, it's unlimited. It's unlimited. You are immensely powerful and you are immensely valuable. God created you. You are precious. Where are you going? What are you doing? To be an effective person, we have to begin our journey with the end in mind. And when we do that, we will know we're on the right road. I'm not kidding when I say, think forward to your funeral. What would you like them to say about you? I know what I don't want them to say about me. I don't want somebody to have 5 minutes at my funeral and get up and say, the baseboards in Shannon's house were always clean. I mean, for one thing, that wouldn't be true, but that's not what I value. What I value, hashtag bring the honor, what I value is going to determine the actions I take between now and that day when they're having my funeral. And the same goes for you. And you can either be intentional about it or you can just let it unfold by accident. And you're going to find yourself making great time down the highway of life, but you're going to show up in Illinois instead of Indiana. Now's the time to think about that, to be proactive about beginning this journey, this leg of your journey with the end in mind. Philip says this, if you do the same thing you've always done, you'll get the same thing you've always got. It's true. We have to change if we want to get something different. So that leads us to this great question. How do we know what to change? How do we know what to change? We can't just go out there and change willy-nilly. We can't just, randomly begin switching things up. We make decisions about what we change based on what we value. If we're going to end well, whether it's a project that we're starting, whether it's a life that we're building, maybe you're newlywed, if it's a new part of your life journey, maybe you just graduated from college or you're a new grandparent, whatever leg of your journey that you are on, all's well that begins well. And the way you know how to begin well is to establish what's important to you. What do you value? Because when you know what's important to you, when you know where your skills and your talents lie, what makes you special and unique, when you know how valuable you are to God and to the people around you, when you know what makes you you, you can choose to begin your journey and know it's going to end well. You're not going to get stuck on the wrong highway going a million miles an hour. I knew people, I worked with people who got caught up in their career. Maybe you've known somebody like that. Maybe you're like that. Got caught up in their career without even noticing it little by little by little. They traded the things that they said were important to them, their relationship with their spouse, their relationship with their children. They traded that for prestige, money, work. When we begin with the end in mind, we do not find ourselves making little decisions that take us in the wrong direction because we've got a compass. We know where we're going, and that makes it easier, simpler for us to know how do we make our decisions. I'll give you an example. I lost track of what I wanted my end to be. When I was newly promoted in the Postal Service into a public relations position, one of my roles was to respond to media inquiries. And regrettably, somebody put a bomb in a mailbox in my district, my area of responsibility. A bomb went off in a mailbox. Nobody was hurt, thank God. But I get a phone call from the media, and they say, Shannon, we want to talk to somebody. We just found out a bomb went off and blah, 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 blah. And it was a Sunday morning. We were getting ready for church. And I picked up this phone call. And like right away, I said, oh, okay, well, you know what? I'll be there at such and such a time. I'll get ready. I'm going to head down. I was just in urgent mode, right? It was an emergency. They needed somebody to talk about this. The bomb went off. You guys, there's not much more important than a bomb going off, right? That's how it felt. I hang up the phone from talking to that news reporter, and my husband standing right behind me. He goes, Shannon, you're going to go and meet the news down in Royal Oak because of a bomb in a mailbox? I said, yeah. Ah! I was super, super excited. He says, this morning is when Michael's getting baptized. My son, Michael, was getting baptized that day. And I had just told the news reporter that I was going to meet him down to talk about a bomb that had already gone off and nobody was hurt. And my husband looked at me and asked me a very, very important question. What are you going to do? I'm going to step back here and let you guys know. He didn't try to embarrass me. He didn't try to pressure me. He didn't try to shame me, but he asked me a very important question. What are you going to do? And I had to decide, what did I value? What did I value? Did I value the urgent, seemingly urgent thing that it felt like so important that I had to do? Or did I value the message that I was going to send to my son by accompanying him as he was baptized? This was a very important day in his life for sure, and our lives as parents. And here I had just totally forgotten about it. Thank God my husband asked me that question. I realized, what do I value? I value my family, our relationship. I value our spiritual life. I value my son's growth. No, I am not going to go and miss all that so that I can talk on television. Immediately, when that became clear to me, I knew what I had to do. I called somebody else. I delegated. I found somebody else who was trained in doing what I did. I explained the situation. They said, yeah, we'll take it from here. They went, they did the news interview. They talked about the bomb in the mailbox. And I went and did the important thing. But that incident showed me how important it is to know what is truly valuable. I had decided from that point on that there were some lines that weren't going to be crossed in my life. I was not going to put my family second. Now, that doesn't mean that sometimes I didn't say, hey, you guys, I might be late. But I could look at the whole picture, and you can look at your big picture and say, knowing what I know about the life I want to create, will this decision get me closer to that or farther away? Begin with the end in mind. Before you get caught up in the rat race, before you get stuck, before you get distracted, bring the honor. Recognize who you are, what you stand for, what kind of a life you're creating for yourself and the people around you. Understand that. And then when the pressure hits, you'll know what decision to make because you will have established your values based on, not based on popularity, not values based on money, not based on reputation, not based on your family, not based on your friends, not based on your church, not based on your school. You're going to establish values based on principles. Bring the honor. You're a person of honor. You bring honor wherever you go. When you show up, honor is there. You were created in the image of God. You are unique. You are designed for a purpose. And then you've got skills and talents and abilities and things only you can do and responsibilities that nobody else can take from you. If you're a mom, you have to be the mom. Nobody else gets to step in and do that job. Your life is yours, and you can be proactive about it. You cannot, with any level of responsibility, coast your way through the days and expect to just end up somewhere good. All right, let's see what you guys have to say. Carol says, one of the top 5 valuable traits you've taught me is to learn to connect and connect others. It was based on me being afraid to walk into a room and be afraid I wouldn't be able to find a seat where I am comfortable. So one thing Carol says that is important is to make sure that when I plan something that I try to make others comfortable. Beginning with the end in mind. So Carol, there you are applying that principle to an event that you plan, right? What's important to you? What's important to you is that people are comfortable, that they don't feel that fear and that nervousness that you experience. You want them to be able to find a seat. And so you begin with that end in mind. You've got a picture of what that is. It's a value that's important to you, and you plan accordingly. This is our responsibility to do that for ourselves, not just with the events we plan, but with our lives. And Philip types it in, bring the honor. Yes, we bring the honor. Bring the honor means that we make our decisions based on principles. And those principles power our values. They allow us to align our actions with what we truly believe. Begin with the end in mind is another way of saying what we talked about a couple of weeks ago, which is it's important for me to be the person who can do the things that allow me to have what I say I want. Be the person who can do the things so that you can have the life you say you want. And so as we're wrapping up here, I'm curious, where are you going? What end do you have in mind? I've been tossing around an idea about having a values exercise to help people clarify what is it that you value. Sometimes we don't have a label to put on it, or we don't know what to call it. Sometimes we don't even really know how to truly identify it. Just seems like, well, I think a lot of things are important. But there are so many different varieties of values that are all good, but they all can't be the ones that are our favorite, right? You can't have 500 favorites. So things like honesty or what's the not impromptu, but spontaneity. Some people really value spontaneity. Other people really value planning. So many different options. But I've been throwing around this idea of maybe having an event, a virtual event, where we explore values and perhaps link a mission statement to that. Like, this is the end I have in mind, right? This is for this season of my life. This is what I want it to look like. This is where I'm going. Because when we create it up here and in here, we do the things because we've become that person. We can do the things that allow us to have the life we love. So anyway, I've just been throwing that around. So if you would be interested in doing some kind of a fun, it's always fun, you guys. I never do anything online that's not fun. We'd play a game, we'd have a good time, but we'd also take care of some important stuff, which is identifying our values and then looking at what do we want our end to look like, wherever we put that end at, whether it's the end of our life or the end of this season or the end of, the next 5 years. Anyway, if that's something you think you'd be interested in, just drop in the comments and say, yeah, I'd be interested. And then I'll keep you in the loop as I flesh that out a little. Not sure exactly what it'll look like, but I'm sort of excited to explore this and help people explore what they truly value so that they can make decisions that align with that. And then they know what to say no to, they know what to say yes to, and they can pay attention to the signs, unlike us on our way to Indiana via Illinois. So, what say you guys as we're wrapping up here? I've done a lot of talking. I didn't necessarily mean to. Um, but what do you have to say? How do you see this play out in your life? Are you intentional about where you want to go, how you want your life to look? And are you taking action that aligns with it? Or are you in a part of a season of your life where you've just been letting days go by? These are precious days, and you are a precious person. And the fact that you're here listening to this is not an accident. It's not an accident. It's time for you to be intentional. It's time for you to begin with the end in mind. Today is a new day. The next step of your journey is going to take you, if you want it to, in the direction of the life that you want. All right, you guys, with that, thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for leaning in. We talked about habit 1, which is be proactive. We talked about habit 2, begin with the end in mind. And next week, we will talk about habit 3. And I don't know what it is off the top of my head. You'd think I'd have this written down. So stay tuned. I'll tease it in my Facebook. Philip, you have an awesome night too. Thank you so much. You guys, God bless. Take care. Bye.